Hi guys. Hi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Wow, I actually cannot believe I'm saying that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I can't believe I'm saying that. Am I surprised? Kind of, but not really. God really placed it in my heart, gave me the nudging this year to like really just do it. Like, no more, no more procrastination, just go. And this is my act of obedience. I typically grew up in a Christian home. I grew up in a Christian home, so I've known God all my life. Like I've known about God all my life. Um, my parents were pastors, all of that. So I've known about God, and I gave my life to Christ properly in 2021, but I didn't really start working on my salvation until 2023 January, like beginning of 2023. That is when I started like taking my walk with God seriously. And I'm not going to lie, my life has been transformed. And that might sound very deep, I know, but I'm not even kidding. Like, God really changed my life and it's changing my life every day. Um, so, yeah, that's just a brief background. I still, of course, have a long way to go in my walk with God, but I'm excited. I'm excited and grateful for how far He's brought me. And I'm thankful and looking forward to where He's going to take me. So, yeah. Anyways, enough about me and all of that. And let's get right into the video and what we're going to be discussing today. So I'm not going to lie, I actually did not even know what we were going to talk about until this morning. I was praying and I was like, God, I need you to like confirm it. If this is you actually telling, if this is what um you're wanting to speak on, can you please confirm it? And craziest thing happened. I randomly stumbled on this sermon, and the first thing the pastor says is Audacity. And I took that as a confirmation, like, okay, like I'm going to go ahead and speak on it. Because I think it's something that the more God teaches me on it, the more it blesses me. So I just kind of wanted to speak on it. And I really hope this encourages someone. I really hope that I pray and hope that this blesses like anyone watching. Um, yeah. So just a little vulnerable moment. I had so many fears about starting this channel. Like, like my mind was just racing, like, oh God, like, like what is it about? Like I felt like there were already a lot of like people, Christian like YouTubers that spoke about God. Like I was like, what can I possibly share that's not already there, right? And that could seem like humility, but it's actually not. Like that's actually not humility. That comes from a place of doubt. That comes from a place of doubt in like you're doubting like God, like okay, you're doubting like if God says do this and you're like, oh, but I'm too small. Like that is actually it might seem like you're being humble, but it's actually not humility. It's something that God was speaking to me on because that just shows that you don't trust God, or I don't trust God rather. Um so and I had these fears on what are people going to say? Will people like the video? What if I don't get any views, subscribers, blah blah blah? And the reality is I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is if God has asked me to, start this channel, if God has asked me to do anything, really, like the the way I the way I view it, or the way I view like the reward of doing that is not the way God views it, right? And that is okay with me. So I basically was just having all these thoughts in my head, like, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, I was like, I can't. But God kept saying, you must, you must, you must. And I was like, okay, I will obey, I will obey. Um, and one thing the Holy Spirit was speaking to me on is just fear and how I was watching this movie. I watched this movie a while ago, Pilgrim's Progress on Amazon Prime. And there was this analogy of fear they gave, which has never left my head. It was like fear was like this dog or this lion that it was chained, and it kept barking, but it could not bite because it was chained, so it could not actually do anything. And that is actually how fear is, and that is how sometimes our mind works. Like we have these thoughts of like, what if like this does not work out? What if like I start this business and no one buys from me? Or what if like I fail my test? Or what if like this person like shouts at me? There's just so many what ifs. But the way our mind works and the way Satan likes to operate is like there's all this like shouting, no evidence. Because the reality is you actually will never know until you take that step of faith. I can guarantee you if it's God asking you to take that step of faith, then the reward is great. Like it may not be your definition, but like if God is asking you to do it, God is faithful. He's faithful to honor his word. He's faithful to like honor that act of obedience. Um, so in just speaking about audacity, faith is really what silences the noise of fear, because once you take that bold step of faith, usually for me anyway, I start thinking like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? Like, why was I so scared to do this? Like, why did I not think about this earlier? Right. And I just sort of wanted to encourage like anyone watching to just obey, to just yield to like whatever God is nudging you to do. And if you're looking for a sign to know if God is actually the one asking you to do that thing, take this as your sign. um of course, check your motives. Like if the motives are like, I really just want to obey God and I really just want to please God, then do it. Because really another thing that God was speaking to me on is the you can't really get to that next step until you take that step of faith. And it's not even just about the next step in your life or your career or your family. It's also the next step in like a deeper dimension in trusting God, really, because the more you obey things that God asks you to do, the more he proves himself trustworthy and faithful, and the more you're confident, when God asks you to do certain things. Right. So just obey, really. It might seem scary, and sometimes it could be scary. But one verse that always encourages me is Philippians 4:13 that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because really, left to me, I can't do it. But when the Spirit of God is the one strengthening me, then I can do anything, really. So let that just be an encouragement to you, right? And I don't think it's a coincidence that, of course, God is wanting me to like talk about this at the beginning of the year, right? Because there's so many things that, you know, as like for me, for example, like there's so many things that like I plan to do like at the beginning of the year, and like, time goes by and like I don't get to it, and like next year comes. But I feel like God is really just saying, just do it, just start. There might be plans or ideas that God had been laying in your heart, and you're like questioning, but just go, because you will never know until you go. That is the audacity of faith. We need to have boldness or audacity to like silence the voice of fear and say like, no, like you have no power over me. Like take that bold step and saying, I will do it. It might seem scary, it might seem intimidating, but if God has told you to do it, then he has equipped you for what you need to go ahead with it. So I just wanted to encourage anyone watching, to just obey, just yield, right? The more you go, the more God will like walk you through it, the more he'll order your steps, the more things will make sense. But it cannot make sense until you go, right? Um, which brings us to my next point, right? Which is just talking about faith in action. There's times when God can even give you like a big picture of what your life is supposed to look like. God can tell you like you are going to own this many companies, or you're going to like own this many houses, but your reality does not even look like it. Like let's say now God comes to tell me like, Kuni, you're going to be a kingdom financier, you're going to be a billionaire. My um my human mind is thinking, okay, like maybe in like a couple of weeks, somebody will just come and like tell me God laid it in my heart to just bless you this amount of money. Or maybe like, I've heard stories where like, like people come across like, let's say like there's old people or old men or women, they just like maybe help them in like a nursing home, and then they now pass, and then they now find out that they actually wrote their name in the will to take all their properties. Like just crazy things like that. That's just what I'll be thinking. But the way God works is every step of faith, every step of faith is one step closer to the manifestation of that promise. And I even think about like David, for example. Um, David got anointed to be next king of Israel, but it wasn't until years after that he actually became king. There are so many steps that he had to go through. He went back to being a shepherd. He had to kill Goliath. He served in the king's palace. Like there were so many things that happened until, that's like until he became king. And that is how it is with us. There are so many, every little step, no matter how small or big, as long as God is asking you to do it, every little step matters. And don't let anyone ever make you feel like what God has asked you to do is insignificant. Like don't ever think that, oh, it's so small, like it's not, it doesn't matter. It could be as little as God even nudging you to speak to someone, or like call this person that is like he's been laying in your heart to call. Like you don't know what's at the next you don't know what's behind that step of faith, essentially. So don't feel like anything God is laying in your heart is too so small or insignificant. If God is the one asking you to do it, then trust me, it's big. You know, He has great plans, right? So I guess lastly, just as I round up, is just dare to trust God, because God can be trusted. Dare to trust Him. Um, just trust Him. Just yield to Him. Really, um, if God has asked you to like start a new business, or pick up a new skill, or take a new course, or apply for a master's, or apply to that university, like whatever it is, like just trust Him. Just trust Him, because that is the only way you can grow in your walk with Him, and that is the only way that you can actually get to the level that He wants you to get to. So yeah, I really hope that this video blessed you. I really hope you're able to take a word from this. I guess let it just be a watchword this year. So just be audacious. Just do it, really. Um, in the grand scheme of things, the opinion of men actually does not matter. It's important, but it is not does not take higher priority over the opinion of God. So just do it. Trust me, guys, trust me. If me, I can start this YouTube channel, you can do it, because I can't believe I'm sitting down here actually making this video. But actually just God. I'm really grateful to God for really giving me the strength to actually do it, and the grace. So yeah, that is all I really just wanted to share today. Um if this video blessed you, once again, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye.